All right, guys, welcome back to our subscriber game. And lest you forget, this is a 500 player map. 500 players. And of course, if only 20% of that 500 are playing, that's still 100 players, right? I mean, that's ridiculous. So, to me, it's probably more like 50%. And by the way, they do drop out as time goes on. Obviously, a lot of these guys are AI. You can tell if it's AI because I don't know what that is. Is that rows of computer banks behind them? Is that the AI overlord behind them? Is that Skynet? Anyway, so what we're doing here is pretty cool. We allowed. I say allowed. What I should really say is we were blessed to have two active new players jump in here. Java first, and then South Borneo. To take the place of some of our guys who fell out. One, our beloved friend, Zayden here, who dropped out, but by the way, he's back on our Discord server. He got a new account, so he's back with us. That's awesome. We were kind of all sad because it's like we were rocking it, and then he's like, I got to go. But he was really cool about it and let us know, and so we were able to take precautions. Unfortunately, poor Melbourne down here did get taken down by Sydney, the evil villain Sydney. We'll talk more about that in just a minute. But what that did allow us was the next two people into our coalition. Just in case anybody's out there, I know this is for all of our viewers. I just wanted to make sure that we were clear on this. I do have some other people that have applications pending, but I just wanted to make sure we were really clear on this. South Borneo, I already showed you Java. But South Borneo's very early message to me was on the 26th. Okay, just FYI. So Java was also on the 26th, a little bit before him. These two who are pending, guys, I haven't forgotten about you, I promise. But they both applied, as you can see, on the 27th and then on the 29th. So trying to be above board here. We really want to make sure that you guys know this is a subscriber game. It's in order of contact with me. There's no favoritism, and if you're a beginner player, that's fine, man. Like we'll work with you, and you'll learn and grow in real time. And a lot of people I know have already learned a lot of stuff. I certainly have as well. This very game, I got to have fun with playing with some of the 5 action, just throwing in 5s and then keeping it stocked. That was pretty cool. I took a fort with that, so I'm learning as I go as well. Another thing that's really cool is, and actually I believe Darwin brought this up. Yeah, Darwin brought this up. I mean, I kind of knew it, but when he put it into context, it was really cool. It's like when you begin your first cannon, like your level 1 factory is done. As soon as you begin your first cannon, it should take 4 days. But then you start your factory level 2, which takes 2 days, right? When your factory level 2 is done in 2 days, you should still have 2 days left on your cannon, right? Wrong, because it immediately prorates that 2 days left and it cuts it in half. So you only have 1 day and a half. Now, people are like, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, I'm sure. I've seen it happen. I've watched it go from level 1 to level 2, and I actually personally made sure that I did this, watch it tick over from level 1 to level 2, and I watched my build time reduce drastically. Now, I just didn't kind of put it all together into a strategy until Darwin mentioned that. And it's just great. It's just great gameplay. That's high-level gameplay to me. You start a cannon at the exact same time you start a factory. Instead of 4 days, that cannon will build in 3 days, right? And then the next cannon you build after, because then your level 2 factory will be done. The next cannon you build will be 2 days. So it's just beautiful. It's just get those cannon out there as quickly as you can. I do have 4 cannon growing here, and here. I know most of my allies have at least a couple factories and then cannon. I will say that my badass friend over here, Geraldton, has got one. He's got one port down here that has a double growing. And by the way, same rule for light cruisers. They follow exactly the same metric as artillery do. Got a level 2 building here. And then up here, boom. Oh, nope, that's Gascoigne. Doing good, Gascoigne, by the way. Up here, boom, on his double. By the way, build a factory on the coast. Absolutely. Build it on your double tile. So smart going here, Geraldton. So on his double tile, we see boom, another another cruiser building, another level 2, and then another double tile. Boom, same. So he's churning out 3 cruisers right now that'll all be here in about a day. And then when they're done, he's going to churn out 3 more that will, be here in 2 days. So just much quicker as well. So he's about to be the badass of the seas that he started out to be. I know early on he said, we played a previous game together. Well, I say previous, it's actually still going, where he's Otago. And it's late in the game, and he's like, I wish I'd gone all Navy earlier. And so this game, he's like, that's what I'm doing. I'm going early. And look at him. It's like, we don't even have cannon on the board yet, and he's already about to churn out 3 floating cannon. That's what cruisers are to me. They're fast floating cannon. They move fast through the water, faster than anything else by far. They move faster through the water than your infantry and your tanks do on land, almost as fast as your speed units go. They're just fast, and I love them. And then, of course, they are ranged units. There's just no beating ranged units because you just hang back and just lob ordnance at them. So I love it. So there's good stuff going on here. No need to point out the giant in the room here, Darwin. Darwin also really showed his diplomacy skills here by reaching out to Brisbane. And Brisbane turns out as a viewer. And, Brisbane may have reached out to Darwin. I'm not sure. But Brisbane early on was like, hey, you guys got me. And, he attacked out. He was doing good, but he didn't have any allies. He didn't have anybody on his side. And, when you're playing a game like this, especially when you have a coordinated group like us, I just don't know how you'd stand alone other than playing really, really defensively. But honestly, you've got to reach out and make allies. And everybody in the area was shady. So speaking of shady, here's Cloncurry. We'll talk more about him in just a minute. But anyway, so he was kind of making some sort of common ground with these guys, but Darwin just came down too quick, too fast, swarmed across. And then Brisbane was really cool. He's like, okay, you know what? We're all subscribers. I'm going to go ahead and vacate. And then they made a truce between them. So here is Brisbane. He's both a viewer and continuing on in this game forever, for as long as he wants to, because we all made peace with him. So here he is. He's going to have an interior game view, which I think is cool too. So he can come in the game and look around. I've never had it happen to me, but that sounds so arrogant. But I've never had all of my territories taken so that I'm just dead. And you know what? It's not arrogant, because usually when I see that's about to happen, I just archive the game and move on with my life. But I just assume that once all of your territories are gone, then you can't really access the game anymore. We did have a really funny situation where in my another 500 game, this guy flamed out early on and was cussing and telling like 2 or 3 of the other members that they were Biden supporters or something. It's like, is anyone really a Biden supporter? Oh my God. But he was really hardcore Trump, I guess. That was in his name too, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. But it's like, hey man, not everybody who disagrees with you is a Biden supporter. Some of us hate everyone. I hate them all. All right. So anyway, that was kind of a sidetrack thing. But the reason I brought it up was he was out of the game. He couldn't do anything because they ended up crushing him. But he still was posting things like little butthurt things in the newspaper. So he said he could get into the waiting room, whatever that means. I don't know. Anyway, so we're glad to have Brisbane still in the game. Glad to have him as a viewer too. And hopefully next time he starts out with us, because he's clearly a good player. He conquered over a lot. And if he'd have just had brothers on either side, then he'd be one of the dominant players in the game right now. So we do have Sydney. Sydney came and crushed Melbourne. We covered this in the last video, kind of tried to get him to do some stuff defensively, but I think he just was away from the keyboard. He just wasn't around. So he did get crushed. But meanwhile, Sydney just vacated forts. He must have really, really wanted that territory down there. It's what are you doing, bro? So you can see even the stuff he has here is just ones. So you can see Darwin's coming in to occupy some of that. Also Gascoigne, God bless him, man. He's come from all the way over here. He's just streaming his troops over and really adding to the fight here from the far west, So good for you, man. That's what teamwork is really all about here. He's streaming in. he's probably got like 40, 50, maybe even 60 guys that are going to be adding to the war effort here. I'm sending what I've got left, after my shenanigans over here, which is 32 guys. I'm sending them over, and I'm just going to try to stiffen all of this over here. I can see some borders that scare me a little bit. I'm coming to here first. And I'm going to drop like 5, 5, 5, and then move on with my 20 more guys and try to stiffen this border here. Let my brothers come in and sort of take territory, but I want to be the one who tightens up the frontier behind them. And then, so that's kind of what's going on here. I really do think we're going to be focusing. Here's Esperanza coming in with his badassery over here. So he's coming in. He's taking the lower region here. Again, Gascoigne is coming in here and adding his weight. And then I'm trying to come in with what little I have, again, just to sort of add my, the thing is, like with 3 of us, if we each only have 30 guys, then that's almost 100 guys, and I happen to know that Gascoigne has more than 30. So anyway, it's cool, man. Like, teamwork is really cool. I have talked a little bit about taking this territory a little later in the game. And again, Darwin was super cool about it. He's like, I'll help you take it. That way we can unify our territories here. So, he, looking at this, he may want to take this one just to get that continuity of travel. You can see that's just a smooth, instead of having to go all the way around it. And you say all the way around it, well, he can go through your territory. Well, yeah, he can. But let's never forget that Allied territory is still just 2/3. So you're knocked down by 33%. And, you know me, man, I like the mobility. I want to get people fast to various places. I'm all about the Romans and their roads and the quick movement of material, supplies, and troops to various areas of your campaign. So anyway, that's all big stuff. We talked about this down here. We're going to have to deal with what's going on up here at some point. So what happened, of course, was, man, I said Java earlier. It's like, I don't know. I was misnaming countries, so I apologize. I'm going to try to do better with that. But it's Papua, of course, who came down with like 42 guys and then just threw them against Brisbane's fort. And just, they all died screaming against the concrete, because that's what happens. And so I don't know what's going on up there with Papua, but I do know that he was kind of in an alliance with Cloncurry. As far as I know, Cloncurry was in an alliance with, or sort of a shaky alliance with, several other people around here. And I haven't had any contact with him, but we'll probably reach out to him in the future. But let's just say I'm not feeling super snuggly, warm and fuzzy about him necessarily. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything super negative, because maybe, who knows, things change. We may make some sort of temporary or longer lasting alliance with him. I don't know. But for now, we're dealing with the South. We're going to deal with this Sydney nonsense down here. I mean, for one thing, he did take out one of our brothers, and it's like, don't you know? Like, do you not know? Do you not click on this and then see the little thing that shows up down here that says you're about to die? No, it says 1914 subscriber game. Like, and then don't you click around and see all the other nations around you have little badges just like that? That's one thing that my friend War Badger, he's an Irish guy, and when I was still learning the game, he was really cool, and he kind of took me by the hand during this game and kind of taught me stuff and told me different things. And that's why, by the way, that's why I'm happy to do that with anybody in any of these games, because that, somebody did that for me as well. And it's kind of that chain of, teacher and student. It's almost like, it's almost like, father, grandfather, great grandfather, and so forth in terms of knowledge. It just gets passed down. So anyway, War Badger, early on, that was one of the things he kind of, now I've lost my train of thought entirely. Holy crap. Yeah, sorry guys. I just have no idea what I'm talking about. But anyway, so I got so off on a side thing that I lost the original thing. But anyway, so that's really about all I need to talk about. Papua came down across the water, which is just really kind of a bad idea in general, to send an invasion fleet that far away. Because if they do die screaming, which often they will, on a huge populated continent like this, it just takes forever to resupply. So just don't do it. Especially everyone else was like, your natural expansion is over here, dude. like there's no forts there. He must have an alliance, some sort of loose alliance. Oh no, what's going on here? Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. Oh. So, okay. No, that doesn't mean anything because this island originally is, I believe, cut into 4 parts. There's like 2 AI. So that just means that this guy took part of this AI. I don't know. I thought for a minute maybe they were at war, but I do not believe so. Dutch West Papua is up and to the left, I believe. Yeah, so these two are not at war. They're probably allies. That's fine. We're going to have to deal with them as well. And it depends on, how things work as to what that's going to look like. I'm really hoping to see some movement down here. This guy is next in line, as far as I know. He is next in line to enter our coalition. Last I checked, he was throwing his guys against a fort over here. Yeah, he must not be watching the videos because that was like 4 videos ago. I was like, don't do it. And then here he is. And, well, it's a level 1 fort now, and there's only one guy left in there, and another guy streaming it. He's going to take that fort. Okay, buddy. Okay. All right. Good for you, man. And then Otago's coming up through here, too, as well, to lend his power from down here. So let's see what happens, man. This is sort of the crucible of, sort of proving, your gameplay down here. Let's see what happens. I love it. I love, the fact that, like, look, you might be waiting to get in the coalition like these guys were, but they went ahead and they made sub-alliances and they branched out and they expanded. And you can see they've kind of made a name for themselves up here. And they're standing against the Asian Alliance up here. Asian Alliance is already starting to make threats. And by the way, I got to tell you, Geraldton is chuckling, about to have 3 cruisers and then 3 more, oh my God. They're not going to be ready for that at all. Although we do know they do have some factories on the coast. Here we go. Here's one. We've had a report from our allies, Java up here and South Borneo have told us, yeah, they've been keeping an eye on things, and there are some factories on the coast. So that means, of course, they're building some sea stuff as well. And by the way, so that's the last thing. I did put out sort of a little bit of a, hey, if you've got a coastal double tile, please build a factory and a harbor there, so that in the future you can start churning out just a couple warships, and then we'll put them together in a fleet. Like 4 or 5 of us all have a couple warships, of course, along with Geraldton, who's going to have 6. But if we can all pitch into that, we can have a dozen warships up in that area protecting. Keeping Asia from encroaching down into the islands until we have everything secure, and then we're ready to turn the tide on that situation. So for a good example of that, I think is I saw a double tile down here. It was a coastal double tile. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was actually up here, I believe. Yeah. So this is it. It's Darwin. So Darwin has a coastal double tile here. And it's his energy. So you know damn well he's already built a harbor here. He'll probably build a railroad soon to maximize that oil. He's one of the lucky ones, man, with the 2 double resources here. But he's got less of other stuff. Of course, that was until he went on a freaking rampage and took over most of this broad belt of Australia. He's probably got everything now. But the point being, here's a great example. So he's building an artillery here because he's pursuing a land battle. But as soon as he wants to, whenever he wants to, he can turn around and start churning out cruisers, which I imagine he'll probably bop out 1 or 2 of those. So hopefully a couple other guys checked in and said, yeah, I've got 1 or maybe 2. I know that Gascoigne over here, eventually he's got 1. He does have a factory here and a factory here. And so and a harbor. So this guy is ready to start churning out right now cruisers. And so that's good. And then this guy over here, if he decides to build a harbor, that's fine. This is why I do say build your factories and your harbors on top of the double tiles, because that percentage increase is going to be applied to a larger base amount. So that's just an early thing that we learn is build your initial production stuff on those double tiles. And then, I've seen a lot of people, once they fill up their double tiles, they're like, well, let's go. And they start filling up the single tiles. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just usually we try to get those double tile productions going early on. Okay, guys, I will just say things are looking great. Let's just check standings. I haven't checked standings in a while. So let's go over to coalitions. Oh, Number one? What? Aw, isn't that sweet? Number one. Not just number one though. We're a good 6 points away. That's not a lot, but this early in the game, it's pretty good. But here's what I'm thinking. Look at that. Man, we're like 20 points away from the third place player. And look at this. We're twice with the fourth place. We're doing good. And these are reward points, and all that has to do with our average morale, number of troops. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that. It also has to do with, I think, change in morale, whether it's on the trend upwards or on the trend downwards. Like I believe I saw a delta in that equation, and delta, of course, means the amount of change between one point in time and another. So a lot of stuff goes. It's a very complicated equation. But here's what I like to do too. I like to look at the coalition list. I like to go to that, and then I like to organize according to the number of provinces. Who has the most provinces? Oh, what? Aw. Look at that. We have 21 more provinces than the next guy down the ladder. 21 more provinces. And by the way, that's only going to grow more and more pronounced as we continue to expand throughout all of Oz here. So things are looking good. Everyone involved is expanding and or tightening their borders. They're keeping their borders. You know, the worst thing ever is you expand, and then you leave those loose borders, and then they start to counterattack, and then you feel terrible because they're in your interior. But I don't see that happening to anybody. Everybody seems to be expanding at exactly the right rate, keeping just enough back to keep that counterattack from happening. So I'm stoked, man. Things are looking great. I will release this immediately because my wife and I are about to go to dinner. So thanks, everybody. Again, love you guys. You guys rock. And that's both my viewers and the people in this game specifically. So let's keep it up, man. Oh, and a lot of people, before I go, a lot of people have been saying, hey, when's the next subscriber game? Well, you know, we've got to get through this. And then I've got two other big games I'm casting right now. And by the way, 100 is about to end because we're about to get squashed. Another 500, the other active game right now. That'll probably go on for some time because now we're teaming up with two other coalitions to crush the mega coalition. So we'll see how that goes. That could be really fun. If you're into seeing giant stacks of stuff moving around, come check with another 500 in a week or two, because we're going to be moving. I've already got like infantry, I want to say 600 infantry stacks, but we're also getting large fleets involved, 40, 50 cruisers kind of stuff, a dozen battleships kind of stuff, lots of subs. And so when you see these multi-coalition alliances move against, there's always like one giant coalition who you suspect has been spamming gold marks or something because they have so many territories. And so we're all moving against that. That's in another 500. Anyway, when that's over, we will do another subscriber game, which I cast like this one. It's cool to cast because all the people working in this game can check the casts and kind of get an overview of everything that's going on from my point of view. And also just sort of ties together everybody else as well. So you can play your own game, do your own thing, and then come back and check this. But I will say this, go to our Discord. I'm going to go ahead and put the Discord link in the details down below here in the description. Just so if you're not in our Discord, come and join us, because also people are putting together games as we play. Let me direct your attention over to this YouTuber over here. Here we go. Supremacy 1914 Universe, game invites. Okay, so, or was it in general? I believe it might have, nope, subgame. Okay, so I've been posting, by the way, in current subgame. Current subgame is where you can come to talk about stuff in this game right now. But who was I was looking for? Here it is. The Power of Us. The Power of Us does her own casting, and I love it. And by the way, you can see, I love it. That's what I said. And also she has opened up her own game here. So, and she's casting it. So same sort of advantage when you're playing in a game that someone is casting. It really helps to unify everybody because everyone's seeing the same thing and they're kind of thinking along with you. And then people comment in the YouTube section below, and that adds to the discussion and it really unifies the team. So love to see, this is one of my viewers who is also starting up her own casting experience, which I think is wonderful. Support it 100%. Please go check it out. Follow this link. This is right here in our general, right here in Supremacy 1914 Universe. And then here's Zelonkin is here. Zelonkin's a fucking legend, man. he's a caster of this game from way back. I learned a lot of my first initial stuff from him from watching his videos. So again, this is general stuff. Zelonkin, if you wanna post a link to one of your videos, go for it. These days, he spends most of his time on his Discord putting together high level games and playing beta games, sort of the testing games for Bitros. God damn it, I don't know which one of those it is. Anyway, Zelonkin's a freaking legend. It's good to have him here in our community. So I'll flash this up here for you if you want to see it. Here it is. Is that worth anything to you? I guess you could freeze the screen and write it down, but don't bother. I'm going to put this in the description below. So thanks for checking in, guys. Super cool to have everybody on board here. I'm going to try to do one of these every day just to keep the team unified and anybody who's viewing along with us abreast of what's happening. So thanks, guys. Awesome to see you all. Adios, mi amigos.